Hey folks, as of midnight, June 12th, 2023, SAG-AFTRA is on strike, joining the already striking WGA on the picket lines.
Yep, the AMPTP refuses to give a fair deal to not only the writers, but now the actors.
No actors, no writers. The ding-dongs like Bob Iger and David Zaslav think you can just make shows and movies with computers instead of trained professionals.
The AMPTP want to starve SAG-AFTRA and the WGA. They want them to lose their homes.
They want to destroy the unions, their bank accounts can continue to swell.
All CEOs, all capitalists, all corporate whores, not just in Hollywood, but on Main Street and Wall Street too, they hate unions. And you're going to be hearing stuff out of the strike, and you're going to be thinking to yourself, that sounds like my industry, my job.
Oh, it sounds like that because it's the same. Actors, writers, truck drivers, electricians, they're all workers. We are all workers.
And we're all entitled to the fruits of our labor. The bosses think that they're entitled to it.
They're not.
This is a historic work stoppage. The Actors Union and the Writers Union haven't been on strike together since 1960. That industry-wide shutdown created the residual payment system so that actors, writers, and directors could finally participate in the profits that their hard work continued to generate for the studios through reruns, stuff like that.
Back then, television was pretty new, and labor knew that they would get hosed by the bosses with new technology. So to get a fair deal, they went on strike.
Sound familiar?
It should. Streaming residuals, new tech. Generative AI, new tech. The bosses are looking to hose the workers again.
And us, the audience. People always joke, Hollywood hasn't made anything good in the last 10 years anyway, so who cares? Bullshit. Without unions, everything that you watch would look like the trash student films that JP and I made in college.
Hey, hold on. The Killers was the bomb.
No. But everything else.
Yeah, okay.
Unions are your friend. In Hollywood, on Main Street, at school, at the factory.
The CEOs are not. They'd replace you in a fucking second with a robot or a computer or one of those like naughty drinking bird things like in that Simpsons episode. They do that without a second thought about your kid's dinner or your mortgage or your health insurance.
Yeah, you want to automate everything? Fine. Give us universal health care. Give us universal basic income. Give us free college. Give us government subsidized housing. No? Don't want to do that? Then give the workers a fair deal, you greedy jagoffs.
Well, hey, you know what? Give labor a fair deal and then do all that other shit anyways.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if you can support not only the striking guild members, but the other film and TV pros who are affected, pass along a gift at entertainmentcommunityfund.org.
Solidarity forever.
Workers of the world unite. Hey, do you know who the SAG president was in 1960?
Who?
Known union hero Ronald Reagan.
Motherfucker. Okay, yeah. Good old union busting Ronnie Reagan. Yeah, that's what he's known for. Oh, man. You know, he used to be a liberal Democrat back in the day, back when he was SAG president. And then somewhere along the line, the corporations got to his brain, and then it all started to melt.
Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense. Sort of. But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning. We're lost on Lost. Welcome everybody to Lost on Lost. Hey, I'm JP Russell, and I'm joined as always by a man who wipes the blood off before he comes in the house, Adam Busher.
That's right. Be wiping blood, I'm wiping cum, I'm wiping it all, baby.
Jesus. Adam.
Yeah.
We have fan mail.
What?
We have actual mail.
Hell yeah.
For a while, I was just thinking maybe our email didn't work. Friend of the show, Tim, wrote us an email here regarding, here, should I just read it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Good afternoon, Lost Heads. What you're describing is a diluent, he spells it out phonetically because he knows I'm an idiot. To make medication more shelf stable, it will go through oh boy, he didn't fucking spell out this one though. Liphohylization process of freeze drying. Once that process is completed, it is shipped out to doctors' offices who will then use the diluent to reconstitute the medication into a liquid form and make it RTU, ready to use. Hopefully this helps. Keep up the great work. Love the show. Have a great day. Tim, I have 2 things to say about that. 1, thank you for being more knowledgeable than our goofy asses.
Yeah, thanks.
And 2, I have no recollection of what the fuck you're talking about.
I am pretty sure that he is referencing the conversation that you, me, and John Weiss had about the lab when Juliet's ex-husband was about to bang that tramp. And
yeah. I'm positive that he's referring to a conversation we had. The problem is we turn off this mic and I forget everything we talked about.
But that's what Gilligan noticed, that the label said, that's not medicine, that's a dilutant. And we were like,
oh, yeah.
That's awesome, Gilligan.
Sure.
What are you talking about?
Tim, thank you for being smarter than us.
Yep.
Today we're talking about House of the Rising Sun, the 6th episode of Season 1, and the 6th episode of Lost. Overall, our centric characters, everyone's favorite reluctant dog trainer, Sun Quan. House of the Rising Sun takes place on the 7th day after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. Adam!
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a recap?
I certainly do.
Do it, please.
It's cuffing season! On the island, the survivors are thirsty, so it's up to Jack Shepard and Kate Austin to bring 32 gallons of water back to the beach. That's only about 130 pounds each. I'm sure Kate can carry her own body weight in water. Along for the ride are John Locke and Charlie Pace, who seemingly never planned on helping with the whole water thing.
No.
And in the before time, Sun Hua Paik and Jin Soo Kwan hope to move forward into wedded bliss together. Hopefully one of them won't transform it into some sort of violent enforcer for Sun's father and derail their plans for a simple life of not hiding Jin's father and not cheating with Jay Lee and not secretly learning English and not traumatizing a young child by beating the Secretary of Environmental Safety / her father almost to death in front of her. Hey JP, do you know any good interior designers? It's House of the Rising Sun here on Lost on Lost.
Hopefully. You know, that old chestnut.
JP.
Well, yeah.
We have a guest.
What?
Yeah, we should welcome back to the show just one classy broad, Kim Davister.
I didn't bring the one classy broad with me, so you're stuck with me.
For the 4th time back on the podcast, but it's been almost a year, so I don't know what that says about us or you.
Or anything, really. Yeah, last October, Kim, you joined us for In Translation, and prior to that, Trisha Tanaka is Dead and Found. So you've been around. You've been doing the show quite a bit here. But what have you been doing since In Translation? What have you been watching? What have you been up to?
I've been watching Ted Lasso, of course.
Sure.
I was gonna say you talked about that last time, and it's now done.
It's now done.
Yeah, no spoilers, but I cried a lot.
You cry watching Lost.
I saw you cry at a turkey club sandwich once.
That's fair. I do cry easy. I'm pretty cool, but I cry a lot.
Which isn't a dig or a slam. People should be allowed to cry at turkey club sandwiches and television and whatever else makes them happy / sad.
I was also watching Shrinking.
Yep, that's really good.
Which had a fun cliffhanger.
Yeah, I've watched some Shrinkage before too.
Shrinking is really good though. If people have
it's so good.
Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, it's real good.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Want to talk about Lost?
Let's talk about Lost. Let's do it.
Lost.
All right. House of the Rising Sun originally aired on October 27, 2004. It was written by Javier Grillo Marxwatch and was directed by Michael Zinberg. Javier likes to observe his friend, write on timepieces belonging to 19th century German philosophers. That's right, Marxwatch likes to watch Marx watch. And Michael Zinberg directed one episode of The Michael J. Fox Show.
Jeepers. I just want you to know how much I appreciated that joke.
That's really good. And Javier's out here too, spilling the beans on the old toxic work environment that Lost was back in the day. You know, speaking truth to power. Always one of my favorite writers on the show, and even more so now. So
hell yeah.
Love Javier here on Lost on Lost. I drink. It's Sun's Eye.
Yeah, she's on the beach. She's smelling some flowers. Jin's out catching fish. He's still in like trousers and a button up in the water. And I'm like, my dude, it's day 7. It's time for jorts and tank tops. Like, let's go.
Do that thing where you cut off trousers and so like you kind of look like a punk skater. Like
hell yeah. Skitching onto the beach.
Just Superman playing, screaming in the background.
Sun is still in her clothes too, but I mean, I guess
Which
she's
is a bummer,
not fishing.
Let's just real quick talk about how hot they are real quick so we don't have to get sidetracked 1,000 times throughout this episode. Sun and Jin are very, very hot. They're both very hot.
Good looking
couple. That is one of my notes. Literally, they're such a hot couple.
Right. So audience at home assume we know, because we do. They're fucking dummy hot, and the three of us are so goddamn thirsty. It'd make you go blind if you were here with us. So
I recently saw Daniel Day came in a Lexus commercial, and
you since bought a Lexus.
Yeah, I keep buying one every day of the week, hoping that he's gonna be in the car. So Jack and Kate are flirting about his tattoo.
Yeah.
Hold on. We have to rewind a little bit first, but then also the tattoo. I have so many more notes before then already.
Oh, really?
You're like, nothing happened. I know, but my first note is top button slut.
What?
Yeah, top button slut.
What does that mean?
Jin gets mad because Sun's top button is undone.
Oh.
And she's wearing a sweater and it's probably like 1,000,000 degrees out.
90 fucking degrees out, yeah.
And then I also have, Michael must be awful at charades.
Oh, yeah.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen. Trying to talk to, like, it's a good thing Sun understands English because, like, there was no way she was getting anything out of that.
Sure.
And I love Jin. I love him.
Right.
But, sir, your father is a fisherman. That is the fakest fish catching I have ever seen.
I mean, yeah, it looks pretty fake, but he does catch a fish with his bare fucking hands.
Oh, yeah. I'd have just starved.
Anyway, tattoos.
Oh, yeah. No,
the flirting is, what's the easiest way to describe it? Gross. Yeah, dumb. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's why we had to have Stranger in a Strange Land. Excuse me. That's why we were fortunate enough to have Stranger in a Strange Land. I forgot I like that one. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, I never thought you'd be a tattoo guy. And it's like, what is, shut up.
What are you, one of these hardcore spinal surgeons?
Right? And I was like, hardcore? He's probably got fucking SpongeBob tattoos. Like, what? Just because you have a tattoo does not mean you are hardcore.
Right, yeah.
I had a goddamn drill sergeant who on the back of his leg had a tattoo of the 3 penguins from the Madagascar franchise.
I want to be his friend.
You don't. He's a weird fucking guy. And he's killed people.
My God.
That tracks.
That's amazing.
He also had a New Jersey accent. I was like, oh, you're from the East Coast? He's like, no, I'm actually from Illinois. Anyways.
God. Charlie comes over and he's like, when you guys are done doing whatever you're doing, we need to go somewhere.
Didn't he use the word copulating?
Yeah, he said verbally copulating. He called them on their goofy, flirty bullshit. When you guys are done verbally copulating. I don't know how to do a Manchester accent.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad.
It was an accent.
Yeah. But my note is, oh shit, I'm on Charlie's side for once.
Right, yeah.
For real. But also, like, you get crashed on a desert island. How many days till you start flirting shamelessly with someone? I feel like for me, it's longer than 7. That shamelessly? Definitely longer than 7. More subtly, like maybe. More subtly, maybe.
I think I would have been doing it, like, mid-crash.
You're like, I did it as soon as we boarded the plane.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, they call me the Titanic. You want to know why? I've gone down on a lot of Irish immigrants. Hey, you want to do this? Anyways. What the fuck are we talking about? Oh, yeah, Locke's waiting, and they're going to go into the woods.
Yeah, Dad is waiting patiently for the older brother to collect the kids and go on this family fucking fishing trip or whatever. Yeah, they've got to go get water. They're like, we're going to get water. Let's go. Get your fucking bottles and your bullshit and whatever. And then Jin catches a fish, and he brings it over, and he, like, pounds it on something, and that makes Sun have a flashback. So she's gabbing with the girls, yeah, Kim.
I put my hand up to stop him. We got to comment on the dress. This is the first thing.
Oh.
It is so sexy.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful dress.
I was real turned on. Anyways,
Open back, gorgeous. I wrote down auga.
Isn't it all caps?
Yes.
Yeah. Hot. Just stupid hot.
when she
Inappropriately so.
when she turns around, like there's someone with a tray in their hand giving her a flute of champagne, and she gives the person who we don't see a look. And I was like, this was a direction choice. And then we come to find out it's actually Jin.
It's her boyfriend. Okay.
He's working, but he's also going to be working,
Looking real good, too. I always forget how good they look until the first... And I'm like... Oh.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with a man in uniform, especially a little fancy vest and tie. It's like, you saucy little thing, come over here and take that waistcoat off and let me work your fucking ass like a finger puppet. I don't know. I don't know.
What?
I don't know where I was at with that.
Hold on. Nope. Podcast has come to a full stop.
Screeching.
Work your ass like a finger puppet?
In my head, I'm like, he got okay, son, very, very hot. He looked like a ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah, okay.
Like a hot ventriloquist dummy, but a ventriloquist dummy nonetheless.
I'm going to give it to you, but only on technicality. Moving on.
I'll take it. It's the best 2 words in the English language. Default.
Later, they meet up, in a secluded little spot away from the main party, and they have a little smooch, and she's like, knock it off. My dad doesn't know, and he's around here, and he will kill you.
It's part of what makes it so sexy is the danger.
Yeah.
This sex is life-threatening. She suggests running away. She's like, we don't have to be living in fear of my father and his hyper-controlling whatever. Like, let's just bail. Let's go to America. Land of the free, home of the brave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the conversation basically was to, I don't want to elope. My dad would never allow it. And he's like, I'll make your dad understand. She's like, you don't know my dad. And he's like, you don't know me. Or I know me.
Yeah, I know me.
Which is more than most men in America, but...
Right. And it's just like, Jin has mad fucking game.
Oh, unreal.
Yes.
And especially like how he convinces Mr. Paik. Jin, before becoming the enforcer, he's putting all the right words in the right order at the right time.
It's stunning the amount of confidence that lives within Jin and leaves so much space for the amount of insecurity that he has. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's a mask. But I do have a question.
Yes.
She's like, let's elope. My dad would never approve of eloping. Isn't that the point of eloping?
Right.
That you don't need approval?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
It's like he wouldn't approve of us eloping. Well, yeah, that's
why you elope.
People who don't have the approval of their parents generally go on alone. Sort of
that's sort of the thing.
It's part of the whole experience.
He also, right at the end here, gives her this pretty little... it's not really a corsage. It's like a little
boutonniere looking thing.
Yeah, it looks like a boutonniere. Yeah.
Kind of. It's like a little flower. It's got like a little ribbon on it, like a little extra piece on it too. Like,
but it's actually
he didn't just
pretty.
pluck it. It's not. It's a flower, and he's put some additional effort onto it.
Right.
He did not make that arrangement.
Yes, he did.
That was purchased.
He can do everything.
Nope, he made it.
He made it with his bare hands for
all
her,
of it. Yep.
with all of his heart, because she's the love of his life.
Okay, I believe you.
He might have bought it. I don't know.
Cut back to the island. Michael's just walking down the beach.
What a lovely day on the island.
Full fucking berserker mode.
I sure hope I don't get tackled today.
He sprinted so fast.
Oh my, for in the sand and everything?
And fucking lights him up. Like, that tackle was so good.
Just like terrible Terry Tate, the office linebacker. Pain train's coming, baby. Woo, woo, woo.
Hey, okay, but I was so confused. I was eating dinner while watching, and I was like, wait, did I look down too long at my mac and cheese? Like, what? Did I miss something?
Why are they fighting?
It does happen
Why
very
is
quickly.
he beating the crap out of him?
Yeah.
But this came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But as far as we know.
they were
as far as we
chilling.
know.
Like, Jin was doing something with the fish and just hanging out with Sun, and then he saw Michael, and then, like, we as the audience get no real indication as to why it happens. He just, like, he sees red and goes after him.
Right.
And he, like, really goes after him, too. He doesn't just, like, pound on him. He, like, tries to drag him into the surf, and he's, like, trying to drown
Dude.
him. And, like,
Yeah, and
Walt tries to break him up, and he just, like, throws Walt. He's like, get off me. I will punch a kid. Like, I don't care.
I mean, if you're gonna punch a kid.
well, yeah. Walt's doing the thing where he's, Walt does try to get him off his dad, and he just gets yeeted across the beach, which kind of takes the wind out of his sails. So Walt's just sitting there yelling, hey, knock it off. Somebody help.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of onlookers watching Jin drown Michael, just kind of like, well, this is the most entertaining thing we've seen in a minute since that guy got sucked into the engine.
Yeah. Scott's like, should we do something? He's like, nah, just wait for one of the named survivors to deal with us.
Yeah.
This is 18 shit. We're C tier. It's all good.
Actually, just a couple of days before this, they would have had to shoot the marshals. So they're
Yeah,
like,
that would've been like 3 days ago.
We're due for another killing.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Eventually, what seems like a fucking... Oh, this is why it felt so long. The lost card comes up... And then there's a commercial break before the fight actually gets broken up. I remember I was sitting here, I was like, man, they're going to let this go on for a minute. And then, like, what seemed to be an inordinate amount of time later, Saeed and Sawyer come barreling in from elsewhere. And they come, and then they jump in here, and they break up the fight. Another super good tackle.
Very good.
Saeed just, like, flying tackles Jin off of Michael. And then they cuff Jin because he's losing it. He's the one who's like,
of course Sawyer just had the cuffs on him,
right? The marshal's cuffs, and he's like, here you go.
Right, like Saeed shouts at him like, those cuffs, the marshal's cuffs, like he's gonna give him specific instructions to go find them somewhere.
Yeah.
And
He's just they're in his pocket. Yeah.
And Sawyer's just like, what, these handcuffs right here?
I pulled them out of my ass. Is this your card?
They cuff Jin to a section of the plane. Cut to the jungle. The A-team is heading to the caves.
How'd you find this place? Just luck.
Oh my god.
So yeah, they go to the caves.
Mm-hmm.
We see part of the plane wreckage in the caves. And they're like, maybe we should search this pile of broken plane. And Jack's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Hey Charlie, you go look for drugs.
He's a canine officer, that knows.
Drugs?
Yeah.
Did you say somebody say drugs? Because I don't even know what drugs look like. Can you describe?
I'm a rock star. I wouldn't know nothing about drugs.
You could hear his tail wagging.
Right. Yeah. He's like, yeah, that's a good idea. He's like, I have to step outside real quick. I'll be right back.
Speaking of drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. This
scene,
bees.
Beats?
Bees.
Job's not on
Job's
board.
not on board. We'll see who brings in more honey.
Knock it off, you two.
Job's still on bees. It's like such a good joke.
We're doing that show next.
Fine.
So yeah, he goes out to fix.
Yeah, and old Johnny Locke is just there as soon as the drugs come out of the pocket. And he's like, "Don't move. You're standing on a beehive."
What do you mean?
Ground bees.
Bees are supposed to be in trees, mate.
You're getting so good at that.
I guess he's from the UK or whatever. I don't know if they have ground bees in the UK. Things are different there. Maybe when he stepped on his beehive, I was like, "Oh shit, he stepped on a beehive." Not like, "What? That's impossible."
The thing I'm trying to figure out is, okay, the fake CGI bees don't look good.
No.
They look real bad.
Yeah.
Bees play no part in the story, really, other than to get Kate in her bra. Like,
spoiler.
But yeah, but like, why were bees written into this? I fundamentally don't understand why we had to. They could just be like, hey, we're gonna search the wreckage here. Okay, bye. That's what ended up happening anyways. So why is there this bee subplot? It bugged the hell out of me.
Speaking of
Nice.
bad jokes, that's why the bees are here.
Yeah, all right, never mind.
For the future bad joke.
There are some jokes, that are bee related, which, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, what does it lead to? It doesn't lead to anything except them talking about the fact that Charlie got the shit stung out of him.
Right, like it doesn't do anything other than fill time, which there's a bunch of this fucking episode that has to fill time. But
Sure,
anyways.
yeah. Cut to the beach. Saeed is questioning Michael.
Who do anything?
Holy fuck, there's a bunch of racism happening in this scene.
It's I think you should leave. I didn't do anything. I didn't do fucking shit.
Michael busts out the Koreans don't like black people stereotype.
Yeah.
Michael's just like, they don't like me because I'm black and they're Korean. And then, like, Saeed's trying to talk to Jin and he's shouting at them. And then Sawyer's like, oh, shout a little louder, Omar. Maybe they'll hear you. So, like, he throws one in.
Holy
And then they're
shit.
talking. And just 4 seconds ago, Michael was like, Korean people don't like black people. And then Hurley was like, the Chinese guy is not.
Yeah,
And it's like,
and that's not the first time Hurley's done that one.
yeah. So there was a bunch, that was like, it happened in such quick succession that I kind of like forgot to take notes about what was happening in the scene because I was just like, man, they just wrote some fucking racist shit right here. This is wild.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
But, I mean, that's the scene, but basically it resolves to, well, we're just going to keep him here until we know what happened. Something about, like, oh, he's getting crispy, and it's like, well, we could just keep him cuffed up and still put him in the shade.
Right.
Because, like, dude can get burned.
I think I wasn't really fazed by this scene, because I was like, oh, racism and victim blaming? Just another day.
Just another day. Just another day in Damon Lindelof's writer room.
Hey, cut to a flashback. Sun is standing on a bridge in like a garden, something like that. Looks very nice. But she seems a little upset. She seems a little sad.
Occupied.
Yeah, and Jin walks up and
Wearing
he's
that
kind of
Steve Harvey ass suit.
Yeah, man. Steve Harvey, shoulder pads for
Wow.
days. He's got to go through every doorway sideways.
I'm kind of mad. I can't unsee that now.
But he kind of comes up with sort of a look on his face like, it didn't go well. Son's like, well, how'd it go with my dad? Jin's like, he gave me permission and he got a smile.
Oh, Jin.
And she's like, don't ever do that again to me, you fucking lying piece of shit.
But also do it again.
But please do it. It's kind of sassy.
You're incorrigible.
You scamp. You scallywag.
And then this is, he doesn't realize he's sort of reciting his own downfall. He's like, yeah, I just gotta go work for your dad. It's temporary though. Like, don't you worry about it, babe. I'm just gonna go to like management
It'll
school
be a year
or
of
something.
management training, a year with the factory. Done.
Just for a little bit.
No big
Is
deal.
it
Just to
like
see
a
how it
work
feels.
placement?
Yeah.
Yeah. She does not like the thought of him working for her father.
Well, especially because, like, we know she plays ignorant. She knows that her dad's a monster.
Yeah, like she might not know all the details, but she knows enough to know that he's working for Mr. Paik is troublesome at best. So yeah, but he busts out a ring.
Yeah, big ol' ring.
Like from the same hammer space that Sawyer pulled out the handcuffs. Like how'd you have time? Where did you fucking go? How long was Sun standing on that bridge? Like, where did you get that ring?
Yeah, and like she's like, you can't afford this. And he's like, now I can. It's like you didn't even technically get you haven't started working. You just got the job like 10 minutes ago.
Now I can. Then you couldn't.
Right?
What?
Don't worry, babe. I just got this from a gashapon in the fucking lobby.
Just now.
It's a kazoo, actually.
Your dad just had this like sitting on his desk. I don't know. I found it and like
Took it.
it said lost and found, but like I don't think that's where he got it. I don't know. There was
now I
still a
wanna-
finger in it, but it's probably fine.
Oh, no!
No! Come back back to the cave.
No, we do not cut back to the cave. This is one of 3 times we just cut back to Sun's face to immediately cut back to another scene.
That's right, because I have beach written down here in my notes, and then it's just crossed out, and then I wrote cave.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, to fill time, I feel like there's so much in this episode where they're like, we got like 25 minutes of content. We got to string this shit out.
So we have this quick shot. The first of 3 times that this happens. And then from there we go to the cave. Jack has gotten himself a suitcase. He's gonna try and throw it over the hive, kind of like a bouncing Betty Mine style type thing. They're gonna throw that over the hive. It's like okay, it's
very
like
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Oh, I'll swap this fucking smack addict for a fucking luggage. Now, had it been the Halliburton case, he might have been able to pull this shit off.
That's true. The Halliburton, it's waterproof, it's dustproof, it's got high tensile strength locks and hinges. It's made to withstand the elements. 0 Halliburton travel case.
A short time later.
For the low price of bees.
Oh God! Oh, not the bees!
They have this. They're gonna. Locke doesn't want him to split the hive. Charlie's still on it. He has a rational fear of bees. This was actually kind of funny.
It's pretty rational because he's able to calmly describe it.
Right. I was like, I don't think that. Like, okay, like being swarmed by bees. I don't think that's an irrational fear. I think everybody's afraid of that.
No.
Yeah.
And then, being able to control it. Of course, he can't control it. That's what makes it irrational. That was a pretty good joke on his part. Still doing material, even when he's in distress.
Anyways.
Yeah, here's the thing about this. So he's standing on a beehive. Jack's got a suitcase. The 4 of them are around this thing. Y'all are getting stung. Just fucking bail.
Right.
Like, don't do the suitcase. Don't do the thing. Just like, when Locke came out there, he's just been like, hey, Charlie, you're on a beehive. Let's run away.
Get off of it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what's going to make the bees more... Now, I'm not a bee expert. I want all the fans out there to know that.
Sure.
Not a bee expert. I've been stung by a few bees, though. I assume that they would be probably less upset of you just getting off of the hive and running away than, I don't know, stepping through it or covering it up. Like,
also, what are the chances that when he stepped onto it in the first place, it didn't split the
just
hive?
break that. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Great point. Yeah.
Also, aren't ground bees just typically in the ground? They
Right.
don't have,
it's not a hive that's sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
They're like they are in a hole.
They tunnel like ants.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's something nonsensical about this whole bee thing.
I like this show better when the polar bear on the island was more plausible than these fake ass bees.
I think I would have preferred the handcuff exposition
to the
over
bee.
the bees.
Yeah. Oh man. Fuck yeah.
Give me a 5-minute scene of Sawyer and Saeed talking about handcuff keys and where they got the handcuffs instead of this bee thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Go back.
Yeah.
Recut.
So, they're trying to do it and he blows it. Charlie slaps a bee. It breaks the hive. The bees attack and they scatter.
Yeah.
Jack and Kate, their shirts get filled with bees, and so they take off their shirts and then they're in the cave
Dogs
together.
with bees in their mouth, and every time they bark bees.
I must not be good at surviving, but my first instinct is not to take my shirt off.
Well, let me present to you a question, though. What if your shirt was filled with bees?
What shirt was she wearing?
If there were bees inside the shirt, like somehow in the panic of the bee attack, a bunch of bees flew inside of your clothing. But just your shirt and not, your pants or anything. Like, what if that happened? Like,
okay,
what if that was a possible thing that happened and could happen
my brother
to
got
anybody?
stung like several times because a bee went down his shirt when he was bike riding. So like I get it, but also a couple of things. Maybe it's because it takes me so long to get my shirt off nowadays with my janky arm that like...
Oh, for the listener at home, Kim recently had shoulder surgery. It's not that her arm is falling off.
Sorry. No, I just have a broken wing, but it's like so hard for me. Like it would take me so much longer to get my shirt off, especially the way that Jack did, that I would just like reach up and like scoop scooping motions under the shirt. I don't know.
That's kind of what I was driving at. I was like, how many fucking bees got inside your shirt that it was easier to take your top off than it was to just like swat the couple of bees that might got in your shirt or whatever. Jack and Kate strip down, and Kate finds an old dirty corpse.
Neat. Adam and Eve. Oh, Jack finds a little baggie with 2 stones in it?
A black stone and a white stone.
Ooh.
Which
spooky.
Yeah. If that shit comes back
forces.
in like...
Ooh, good and evil.
Yeah.
Ooh, Lock and Jack. Ooh, black and white. Ooh. Shut the fuck up.
Jack is like, it takes a long time for bodies to get like this, so based on like...
She asks 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
Where are these bodies from? Why are they like that? How do, like, what happens after you die? Like, all
like
these...
my mom watching a movie. I'm like, Mom, I haven't seen it either. What?
Exactly.
Kate, you've technically known these 2 dead people longer than I have. Why don't you fucking know? Get off my dick. I don't know, 40 to 50 years based on how ragged their drip is.
Yeah.
Locke and Charlie come back in. Oh, why don't you have your shirt on? It was full of bees. Actually, it was full of C's. Drown yourself in the water. And then she could have hit him with, D's nuts, but anyways.
My first thought was, are they?
Yeah, I was like, the proper response would be like, good guess, Charlie.
No.
Charlie comes in. He also has another good joke here. I'm so glad that my distraction helped you get away. I was only stung several hundred times. It's like, dude, you're the one who stepped on the beehive. You were gonna bear the brunt of it. It's not their fault. Don't be mad at them. Like, why are you being so weird?
Right.
The bodies, Locke's like, our old Adam and Eve. It's like, you're weird. Stop saying weird. Everybody stop saying weird things. Start talking like normal people.
Remember why we came here? Water.
But John saying our very own Adam and Eve isn't as weird as Jack saying, one of them skeletons is clearly a female. What?
Yeah.
Once I realized there were bodies here, I immediately inspected their pelvises to see if any of them were single. I mean, a woman.
Yeah. Jack's like, I'll give you another bone, baby. Cut to the beach. Sun is putting some aloe on Jin's arm. His skin's real raw from the cuff and from being out in the sun. And he's just kind of like, meh, stop. Meh, quit it. Meh, meh. Cut to a flashback. Sun's coming home from shopping. Little product placement here. Where she had like Chanel. Ooh, wow.
Hey, don't forget, she's fucking loaded.
And she comes home to a big old box on the couch, and it's got a goddamn puppy in it.
The chubbiest little wrinkly
smush its face.
Cute little pupper.
Yeah, Jin's like, I've been working a lot, so I thought I'd get you something to
yeah, you appreciate the company.
Your time. Absolutely. We've seen the other half of this, so we know he's lying through his teeth. But, making lemonade out of lemons, he's like, well, I got this dog. Maybe my wife will like dogs. Ladies love dogs, right?
Yes.
Here's a responsibility.
Yeah, you'll have to feed it and you'll have to train it. Okay, Dad, leave me alone.
Right? I was like, she's not a moron. She knows she's gonna have to.
Don't speak to your wife like a child. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fuck. She's fucked up.
And she's like, remember
Typical
when all
man.
you could afford was a flower?
He's like, what a coincidence. The dog's name's Flower.
Yeah.
He's like, I stole both of those things. Joke's on you.
Here we go. The second time Christ fell. Cut to the beach. Sun looking. Cut away to the cave. In the cave, they're filling up bottles of water. One of us should stay and help Charlie look at the wreckage. Again, like you said earlier, Jack, like we've just lost sight of the fact that we're here to bring water back to 40 people who are dying of thirst.
Again, each person should be drinking about a half gallon. Like, we're just assuming, like, people who are bigger, people who are smaller. Like, obviously, Hurley should be drinking more water because he has higher body mass. Like, Saeed should be drinking more because he's fucking working all the time. He's actually, like, doing shit. He's constantly sweating.
Yeah.
I need more water because I've been drooling and other things.
Right. We should not give Boone any water, and we should take him to the sea and let him drink ocean water.
Speaking of, where is that boy? Oh, he's under the water again.
But each person needs a half a gallon of water. A gallon of water weighs, give or take, 8 pounds. That's a lot of fucking water to be hiking back and forth. Why don't we just move closer to the water source? Jack's right here. Like, he's right. Like, he's just right. Anybody who, like, I can't.
It's the only time I agree with Jack.
All the arguments that come up later, I'm like, okay, well, that's all piddly shit, and we can work around that.
Yeah.
Move to the cave. Move to the water source. Duh.
Right.
Duh and or hello.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, let me go on my mind palace. Walking all this water back and forth every day is going to be such a problem. We should bring people to the water. Oh, wow, I had to take that limitless pill and use 100% of my brain power to figure that one out. Jesus Christ.
I'm having one of those things, a headache with pictures. An idea? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand why more people weren't already going there. Like, did they keep it a secret?
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's like, why didn't when Jack deliriously following his father to this place find the water? When that happened, why didn't he just go back and be like, hey, I found water. Let's all go to the water.
Hey, everybody. Yeah.
And shelter. Not only is it water, it's shelter.
Feel like this is a no-brainer. There's a couple bees outside, but that's like it.
But Charlie scared most of them away.
Yeah.
And the rest of them are in Kate's underpants. So
Yeah, well.
Cut to the beach.
Yeah.
Walt and go ahead, Kim.
But like, first we cut to Kate's face. Like, why is she mad? Why is she mad about living in the cave?
She's all consternated. I don't know what this. It's
constipated, definitely.
Cut to the beach. Walt and Jin are eyeballing each other. And then Michael comes and collects him. Walt's like, what's up with Korean people not liking black people? And Michael has to be like, oh, that's actually what we like call a stereotype, and it's not true. And it's just something that people use to justify their kind of shitty actions toward people who are unlike them. It's one of the things I would have hoped Brian Porter would have taught you, but he's a shitty father, just like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's the exact conversation they have.
This conversation is so funny too. It's so childish. Like, from both of them.
Yeah. When's my birthday?
Yeah.
August 24th. When's my birthday? I don't know.
Right.
Exactly.
That says more about you as a shitty dad than it does your son not knowing your birthday.
Also, way to make him
That's not as much of a
bad.
gotcha as you think it is, Michael.
And
shame.
again, the other thing that we have to do, and like, I know we're not supposed to use like too much context and everything like that, but like within the past, few weeks, the stuff about Harold Perrineau's like desires within the show to being resurfaced, it's like, he was not getting good dad shit from the writers.
Yeah.
He was getting stereotypical absentee black father shit from the writers, and he fought to have a relationship with Walt. And so this isn't Harold Perrineau's fault. the poor relationship that Walt and Michael have.
Right. To be fair, I didn't see stereotypical absent father relationship. I saw super emotionally immature dad.
Right.
Which was like, then you're like, oh, okay, this is probably why
that makes sense too, because he hasn't been a father. He signed away his rights. His wife didn't want him to know Walt. Like, he was like, whatever, all of that. But yeah, he is an emotionally immature father because he's only been a father for about 10 days. He is an emotionally mature father. So that's why that plays out like this.
He's an emotionally immature person.
That too. And that's part of the reason why their relationship didn't work in the first place and all that other stuff. Blah, 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 blah.
You don't know me. You don't know me.
It's like, you're arguing with a child. And it's like, why? Well, how do you argue with a child? Act like one, I guess.
Like, ask Walter.
But the big takeaway is they got to get to know each other better.
Yeah. Cut to Sun and Jin. Jin's still cuffed, but Sun's like, listen, I'll just explain the situation to them and they'll let you go. Ray's like, how are you going to explain to them? Because, newsflash, we don't speak the same language. He's like, plus, I'm not about to explain our shit to a thief.
Right.
Which, I was like, what? What do you mean thief?
What do you mean thief? Huh? What are you talking about, dude?
It's almost like if I wait 5 minutes, the episode will tell me what he means.
If I were being Kate, though, I would ask immediately.
What do you mean thief? What do you mean you can't explain it? What do you mean you guys speak a different language? Where'd that plane come from?
Cut to a flashback. Jin comes home covered in blood.
Oh, Boise.
Man, if I had a nickel for every time.
Right.
But that dog is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Apparently a bunch of time passed between stealing the dog and the final beating of the secretary.
Right.
But like, I don't understand how
Right.
how a dog growth amount of time happened. So yeah, so he comes home covered in blood, and she's got 20 questions for him too. It's like,
Yeah.
but
Hers are legit.
I mean,
yeah, this makes sense why she has questions
To be
because
fair,
he's
yeah.
not talking, and he came home covered in blood, and he's supposed to be a management trainee.
yeah.
Is it
like-
yours?
Yeah.
Is it yours?
Whose
Are you
is it?
okay?
Oh yeah, no, we were training on a wood chipper and Jerry fell in. Okay, end of discussion. Well, we didn't like Jerry anyways, so okay.
What do you do for my father? I do whatever he needs me to do. It's the cost of getting to be a very hot couple with you.
Yeah.
And my favorite line, I do this for us.
Kim,
Red flag.
let him have it.
No, Sun did. I have a bad arm, but she
Oh.
She did.
She did it.
She did give him one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of Jin's red flags were green flags, but they're covered in somebody else's blood now.
Exactly. Oh.
They argue. Yeah, she slaps him. It's more tension in their relationship. We cut to a commercial, and then we cut back to the jungle. Jack and Kate are walking back with again hundreds of pounds of water. In
Yes.
a backpack or two and two small duffel bags. Okay, so maybe they didn't bring back enough water for everybody. Maybe Jack was like, "I'm gonna get some people to come get their own goddamn water. Like we can just do laps or
Yeah,
whatever. Like do
'cause
multiple trips." Because
I think after he decides that, like, hey, people should come here. Why don't we just live here? Oh, great. I'm not going to bring
right,
a shit ton of water back then. Cool.
Yeah, it's Kate stops to like
tire shoe.
or fucking I don't know, look at some bees in the ground.
So I was like,
And-
she's checking her pants for bees.
Yeah, picking bees out of her socks.
Yeah, and Jack's just kind of like staring into the middle distance, thinking, disassociating,
Yep.
but he happens to be disassociating at her ass,
Yep.
and she's like, "Are you checking me out, Anna?"
It's okay if you are. Just
And he's like, "Ew, no."
I would never. Jesus Christ.
Jack, why are you so thirsty? Drink some of that water in your backpack.
Disassociating is a good way to put it because I was looking at him doing that and I was like, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I recognize that face. He's not checking her out. He doesn't even realize she's there.
He is also checking her out, but not actively.
Just
Right?
passively.
He's just like passively. It's background noise. He's background noise checking her out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And like, folks are thinking about rescue. We should be thinking about safety. And she dries up so quickly. Like, if he would have been just like, I was just thinking, the light in the jungle here is really, he could have, if he had Jin's charisma, he could have sealed the deal right there.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bee stings and all.
But he's like, every time Kai's trying to be romantic and she's like, what are you in the mood for? And I'm like, here's my most recent hyperfixation.
Bagel bites.
Honey, I'm over here trying to solve this Amelia Earhart thing. What are you up to? Anyways.
Yeah, Jin would have closed.
Oh, yeah.
She's not necessarily on board with the cave thing.
No.
Then she's like, you haven't even convinced me. It's like, then you're dumb. You're dumb as hell. If he
And
hasn't,
that's why I wasn't checking you out.
right? Because because you're not on board with the cave thing. If you were like, hell yeah, caves, then I'd be like, you know what? I was checking. Let's check your underpants for bees. Let's check your underpants for these nuts.
Ah, I'm gonna give you one more little prick.
There it is. There it is. We cut to the caves. Jack, John Locke, and Charlie talk about Drive Shaft.
You all, everybody.
Speaking of not being aroused. This scene is bad. I mean, it makes sense that John Locke's into like dad rock.
Yeah, because like when he said drive shaft, I was like, in my head, I heard him say Steely Dan. Like,
Grateful Dead.
Yeah, like
but it's like Charlie's always like, I'm the basis for drive shaft. I'm the basis for drive shaft. And as soon as John Locke's like, you're the basis for drive shaft, he's like, I'll play guitar too. Like, I don't know what that accent is, but you know.
Yeah.
He had a solo album.
Well, and right there, it proves, like, sometimes when you receive the thing you're looking for that you've been replacing with an addiction for some time, it can, like, sort of stave off, like, Charlie's desperate for attention. He always has been, always will be. He needs it, and as soon as Locke actually started paying attention to him and providing that missing thing that he was needing, he kind of sort of forgot that he's, like, 5 minutes away from getting violently dope sick.
Yeah. But Locke hits him, with, I'm sure you really miss playing your guitar. How long has it been since you got to play your guitar? And he's like, 8 days. He says, well, I have
11 hours.
Faith that you'll see your guitar again.
Right. We cut to the beach. Saeed is chopping wood.
No, he's not. I don't know what he's doing, but he is not chopping wood.
But he's like, this is the thing. He's like, it's about time. I'm so thirsty. It's like, why did you get to such hard work right away, knowing you didn't necessarily have water coming like that? Like,
shouldn't have been that hard to chop that specific size log. You shouldn't be that thirsty because it shouldn't have taken you that long because you were using that axe very incorrectly, sir.
Yeah. It's already dead wood. 1, you could just burn it as is. 2, lean it up against something and use gravity to just snap it in half.
Like he's presumably getting wood for the signal fire. So yeah, just like the only reason you would cut it down is if it was too big to carry. Like, then if that was the case, move on to some different wood. Don't chop this up.
He was just getting a workout in.
Like, Shannon was somewhere nearby and he was just like waiting for the perfect time to like pop the tank top off and just like, look at me chopping wood, babe. Oh, God. And she's like, you understand Jin is over there sweating down to that perfect island dehydration mode, and I can see all 40 of his abs. I'm not there yet for you, Saeed.
So Saeed explains the situation with Jin being incarcerated, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna let him cook for a little bit.
Then I'll presumably cut him loose.
Yeah, well, and then I'm gonna talk to Sun somehow. I'm gonna play charades and we're gonna communicate. And Jack, unwarranted, do you want me to talk to her? Like,
I could go talk to her.
She's got a sexy back.
Saeed's not on board with the caves thing. Jack tells him about his little plan, and Saeed's like, I'm the signal fire, bro. And again, leave a couple people by the signal fire. Put everybody else by the water. Take fucking turns watching the signal fire. Don't leave the signal fire unattended.
How far away are these caves?
Yeah, unless it's like multiple days walk. Like, it's obvious that they got there and back in the span of less than an afternoon. Like, they went in the morning, they're back, and it's not even lunchtime. Like, there's enough time for them to go back again today. Like,
congratulations. You just got your first corporate job on the island. Oh, it's my job to go to work today. Guess I better hike down to the beach and make sure the signal fire's on and watch for ships. Like, what?
Yeah, everyone's got to do it once a month.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know what happened during these next scenes, but there's 3 things that happen in quick succession. Saeed talks to Michael, Jack talks to Junior Hurley, and then Kate talks to Sawyer. Those are the only things I wrote down. Oh, Saeed goes to Michael to apologize. Hey, you were clearly the victim. I shouldn't have been interrogating you so badly. My bad.
Yeah.
But, and then Michael calls me. He's like, you didn't come over here to apologize. I'm on to you. And Saeed's like, you're right. Jack wants everybody to move to the caves. And all of that stuff that Adam just said on Lost is how I feel about it. So don't leave.
Yeah, precisely. Michael's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I got to get off this island. So I'm going to be a beach person.
Jack gives Jin some water, and then he goes to Hurley. Hurley's packing. But
Kim, I wanted to ask you about this because, like, Jack's like, Jin, drink it slowly. Yeah, again, like, he fucking speaks English, but, like, is that a thing you got to worry about? Is like drinking water slowly when you've been mildly dehydrated?
I think like severe dehydration, you probably don't want to you're probably going to end up throwing up if you drink it too fast.
But he gave him 1 8-ounce bottle. Like,
I don't really know. This is why I didn't believe that Jack knew that skeleton was a female. Cause I was like, I'm relatively trained in emergency medical services. And I couldn't tell you. I'm like, I don't know why you can't drink the water.
Right.
Jack's like, drink that shit slow. I don't want to make another trip.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
That's
He's
exactly
like,
it.
you have to make this last the whole trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not
Drink it
going
slow.
back till tomorrow.
Is this a half gallon? Can you stretch that out to a couple of days? I don't know. I didn't come back with 300 of these in my fucking bag.
I wanted to move everybody to the cave, but the cave's filled with bees now, so we can't move there.
It's Kate's fault.
It's bees and water.
We thought they were ground bees, but it turns out they're water bees. Now they live in the spring.
I know all about bees.
They killed 2 people 40 years ago. They were stung to death. One of them's a lady. I checked.
They had a bag full of 1 black bee and 1 white bee. And Kate's like, oh my god, he knows so much about bees. He's so fucking hot.
Summer, I want to fuck your dad. Oh, really? Oh my god.
Anyway.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Hurley is on board. He says they write him a fat joke. I'm going where the boar is.
Yeah, are you and Kate moving in together?
Am I in high school? That's not a denial. Shut up, everybody.
Cool.
Kate's brooding on the beach on the brooding dune.
The Bruden Beach?
Yep, brooding beach. Sawyer pops in from out of frame. What's going on, Freckles? Some misogynist, whatever. Burger. Call him like I see him.
What are you gonna do? You didn't answer my question. What are you gonna do? You didn't answer my question. Like, it's just... It's
I asked first. Michael is chopping some bamboo.
No, he's not. Again. What?
Michael
I
is,
have this in all caps.
Michael is hitting some bamboo with the axe, and we are unsure what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, he might as well be using the other end. Like, what?
Yeah. Again, Kim, you're our expert for a lot of things on this show. You're also our axe correspondent. You have to be, because you probably got most time on an axe of anybody.
Son goes to Michael's not wood chopping station, and then we cut to a flashback. Son is speaking with an interior decorator. Their money's no concern to revamp the apartment. Do whatever we want. Honey, move the dog. I'm on the phone.
I can't talk on this phone when I'm next to this well-behaved dog.
And she's like, oh, good. I don't need to think of an excuse to go in the other room. Grabs the dog, grabs the interior designer, talks to heads to the other room. And then the interior designer, who's actually Robert Forster from Breaking Bad.
I don't get that joke.
I'm laughing hard because same. But
our audience would get it. She's like, hey, I got you a passport. Have you been taking English? Like, are you sure about this? Like, the interior designer is helping her run away.
Listen, the curtain business is a rough racket, right? Everyone needs a side hustle these days. So she's also in the passport and human trafficking.
Yeah. She's not only planning to leave her husband, she's leaving her father, too.
and her dog.
And the dog, which is...
That's fucked up.
Cut to the jungle. Son speaks to Michael.
In English.
In English. We've several times throughout the past 66 episodes of Lost on Lost asked, what is the deal with Son and Michael? What is their fucking thing? Their thing is Michael was the only person who knew basically from the jump that she spoke English.
Yeah.
And so that was I was listening back to Kim, your previous episode earlier today, just to like sort of refresh myself on what we talked about then. And we asked it then, and I know that wasn't the first time we asked it. Why are Son and Michael like this? That's why. It wasn't just because he saw her boobies.
And that's what I thought it was. I thought that's why Jin was going to be so mad. Like, oh, he ran up and saw my beautiful, beautiful body. Yeah. But that's such an interesting thing that they don't really do anything with. And then Kate just finds out that she can speak English, and then it's like, oh, well, this relationship isn't special anymore, so whatever.
No. And maybe the impact of this is lost by not watching it, or there's no way to tell.
She's like, yeah, you got to watch. My husband was transporting for my dad. So this is a matter of honor.
It's a matter
so
of
I need
honor,
your help.
yeah.
And his response is, so I just have written down, Michael is uncultured swine. Like,
Well, he does know that it's a really expensive watch.
but then, like, why would you be so mad about it if you're like I would be like, oh, it was his watch, but he couldn't tell me that because he speaks Korean.
Sure.
It's obviously something more than the watch, because if it was just the watch, I think Michael thinks Jin would have come up to him and been like pointed at the watch and like had an argument with him instead of trying to drown him.
Yeah, but
So like that's why, you know, like I think part of Michael's, I don't know, I fucking disassociated during the scene because I was like,
right, because if it's about honor, what is honorful about him just like taking the axe and cutting him loose? Like I don't get how this solves.
We can talk about that in a second because I have a theory.
Oh, okay.
We cut back to the jungle, back to the cave area. Locke knows Charlie is on heroin
Because of all of the
Heroin?
clues. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Sure, fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter how he found out. He knows everything. And then we get some Locke mysticism here. If you give the island something, it'll give you something you want. If you want your guitar so bad, just give the island a little smack and it'll all be good. I wrote eye roll in my notes.
Yeah. And he does. He's like,
look up. Do you want me to pray? No, just like literally look up. I earlier saw your guitar. I've known about it for hours already, and I've just been waiting to use that to take your heroin away from you.
And then he's like, hey, Boone, climb up there. Go get that.
You got it, Mr. Locke. Yeah, his guitar's up in the tree. They get it. And the thing about, like, this is... Charlie's easy to pile on because he's got his problems. The character itself is kind of fucking whatever. One thing that is true and established here is that Charlie is he is a musician, and we've seen this in the previous episodes. Like he was the primary songwriter. Like he's a pure musician. He's a creator. He needs to create. He needs to play. Like this actually will be something super helpful and super healing for him.
Sure.
And I thought that was kind of
However,
I
think he would still be mad that Locke took his drugs, knowing, because it was very obvious that Locke knew exactly where the guitar was. I think he would be pissed.
That and had Charlie found the guitar himself, he would just then have the guitar and heroin. Having the guitar wouldn't stop him from doing his heroin if he still had it on him. Yeah. No, it doesn't fix everything, but it is like and again, it goes back to the thing. It's cool that he found his own thing on the island. After this thing, it's cool to have your own stuff.
And there was never silence again.
Yeah, fuck, man.
He's just playing Wonderwall in the corner.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Is he going to the caves? I'm not going to the caves.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to move to the caves with us? Question: where's Charlie gonna live?
Yeah. Right. After the 5th time of hearing your body's a wonderland, I'd be like, hey, do you want to overdose?
Yeah.
Cut to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Jack comes up to Kate, who's on the Bruden Beach.
Bruden Beach, yeah. Bruden Beach, Poughton Pond, all of our emotional safe spaces here on the island.
Yeah, crying tree.
Yeah, the crying tree. Yep, Poughton Pond.
I forgot about the crying tree.
The spanking swamp.
The torture bamboo thicket. I don't know if that one applies.
The beehive.
The beehive. What happens at the beehive? What do you think?
I don't know.
So he's like, well, it's almost time to go. She's like, well, I don't want to go. I don't want to be. No one's asking to be. I can't dig in. And I'm just like, what? You can go visit your friend. Like, they can still come to the beach. You can still go to the cave. It's just really where you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's so dramatic. And then he says my favorite line of this whole episode.
Which is?
Kate, how did you get to be this way? It's just instantly, how did you get to be this way?
And she's like, B! Ah!
Too soon, Jack.
You had your chance to know is her response to that.
Yeah.
When was his chance?
Probably in an earlier episode when they're like carte blanche and starting over.
That with the whole when he had her file or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe it was like when she was bending over to tie her shoe.
Oh, yeah.
You had your chance to know me, Jack. You know what I'm saying?
No, in the biblical sense.
Yeah. Like fucking.
Jeez.
You know where to find me.
Christ.
You know where to find me, too. I literally wrote more eye roll in my notes. And then I wrote, am I in high school again? Even though Hurley said that way earlier, that's what I felt like saying here.
Oh, So dumb.
Michael confronts Jin. He comes up with the axe and
With murder in his eyes!
he's got a whole monologue.
Murder.
I'm not normally a talk out loud guy, but if I don't, this will just be a scene of me chopping your handcuff off and walking away. So I'm gonna monologue a little bit for the audience. And he unloads all this shit. All of this whole thing is a show. It's helping Jin save face. Like you said earlier, JP, you didn't necessarily know how. Like, I don't necessarily know how either, but this big, huge, bombastic, and aggressive display, and then the returning of the watch. Yeah. And then the cutting him loose is like, you win. You still, like, Jin still wins. Like, I made a big fool out of myself by making this big scene, I guess. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, if he looks like a big irrational maniac here, then it seems like, okay, well, Jin was in the right to do it, or at least Jin feels he was in. It's not super clear how this is supposed to help. Apparently it does though. Yeah,
there's now enough confusion for the whole situation that everybody's back to neutral instead of like good guy, bad guy. They're all like, man, I don't know.
They fought, and then Michael gave him the watch, and then everybody else like, I guess it was about the watch. But yeah, I think like that's it's somehow this whole thing was supposed to help him save, and like maybe this was in the cut material about how the plan.
I don't know.
Can we address the elephant on the beach?
What's that?
In no version of this story we've seen his work does Jin not get his hand chopped off because Michael does not know how to use that axe.
Yeah.
There's no way all of a sudden he's successfully.
There's absolutely no way that he cleanly cuts that cuff by just swinging at it violently like he did. It's like, okay, I'm going to cut you loose now. So put your hand as far away as possible from my axe because I swing like I have my eyes closed.
Right. Are we supposed to is the audience supposed to believe that the sharp blade of the axe cut through the handcuff chain?
Yeah, in one fell swoop. Yeah.
That's not what happened.
TV's awesome. Cut to a flashback. Sun has her instructions. There's going to be a car picking you up at the airport at 11:15 on this day. Just get in the car. Don't take any shit with you. Your family will think you're dead for a little while. Then they'll get over it, and you'll be able to do whatever you want. It's the moment. It's the thing. Jack is freaking out and having a white guy meltdown at the ticket counter, delaying everybody behind him, including Jin.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! I didn't even know. Wow. Yeah. I didn't even notice that it
was Jack freaking out at the counter. Yeah. Freaking out about the coffin, and he's traumatized and he's going through grief and stuff like that. So we're not going to get on too much about that, but he is having a thing about how he's the most important person. And the car pulls up and Sun sees it, and then she looks at Jin, and then she looks at the car, and then she looks at Jin. She does this several more times, and then Ted Knight's like, well, we're waiting. And then she looks at Jin one more time, and from his coat, which he has slinged over his arm, he pulls out a little flower with a little ribbon on it, and he gives her a sweet smile. And she decides that that's enough to want to stay with him, to not bail.
She's in a codependent relationship. This is not good.
I was like, I've made poor decisions over less, so.
Like being on this podcast.
The flower, I think, is a representation of who Jin actually is prior to the Mr. Paik thing, prior to all of it. It's like and Sun knows who he is. Like he said at the beginning, I know who I am. Sun knows who he is too. He's the son of a fisherman. He's a hopeless romantic. He is a good man, and so she bases her decision on that. And again, Sun and Jin, one of the best written relationships in the show. Not because it's perfect, because it's interesting.
Yeah.
And they're hot.
And the fucking hotness of it all.
Yeah, she took one look back at his hot ass and was like, all right.
It kind of does it like that. He doesn't even need to be able to speak.
Yeah.
And in fact, if he can't talk, it's even better. Caves.
Nope. The third time Christ fell. Back to Sun's face. Now cut to the caves.
Charlie plucking away, trying to get her in tune. His hands are a little stiff. And Jack's new tenants come walking in. Hello, we're here. Hurley, Sun and Jin, a couple other folks. They're all here. The gang's all here.
Except the ones that aren't.
Yeah.
Except for the ones that aren't. Yeah, exactly. And we're never going to see them again because of how far apart the caves and the beach are. And it's really, really sad that everybody had to make this huge decision as to where they were going to live, and the choice to whether or not to abandon the signal fire, having to choose signal versus shelter and all that. Man, the brutal just like choices that they had to make to get us to... So Hurley busts out a CD player, throws on a little Uncle Willie.
Yeah.
And we get one of these classic early 2000s broadcast television music montages.
Dianetic is that the...
Diegetic.
Yeah.
Not
Diegetic, yeah.
Dianetics is the Scientology thing.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, diegetic. Yep.
Diabetic?
That's it. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Man, this song rules. Are You Sure by Willie Nelson is so good. And of course, so Hurley this is a mix CD because it's got Willie on it, it's got Damien Rice, it's got like all this random shit. Like, unless you've got a CD binder with him.
Sawyer probably has one.
Yeah.
But
It's
also,
Hurley's.
I fully believe that Hurley made himself a mix CD for this trip.
Yeah, and so we cut from the caves to the beach. Sawyer is keeping the fire along with Kate, Saeed, Michael, Walt, some other random folk. Michael and Walt have a little moment. When is your birthday? Good one, Slugger.
We still don't know.
I think Michael knows what his birthday is, and that's why he's stalling. He's like my dad, and he literally forgot his own birthday.
Yeah. But yeah, then it's just sort of a montage of just everyone hanging out.
Yep, and a super on-the-nose song playing in the background. Yep.
Except it's not a montage of everyone hanging out. It ends being a way too long montage of Kate crying.
Yeah.
By the third time we cut to Kate, I'm like, nope, I don't even know why she's crying. This is dumb.
I don't care anymore.
Don't care.
Don't
care. I'm out.
Lost. House of the Rising Sun.
Holy shit.
We did it. Sort of. We got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of here. Did we like it? Was it good? That is a question we always ask ourselves at the end of Lost on Lost. Did we like the episode of television we just watched? Was it good? Two different things. You can like something that sucks. You can hate something that rules. Kim, kick us off. Did you like it? Was it good? House of the Rising Sun.
Most of it I liked, and it was good. About half of it. Maybe less. Maybe 40%. Okay. Anything with Sun and Jin, I was like, yeah.
Right. There's a base level of enjoyment there. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, the axe stuff really pissed me off. And then, the bees. I'm like, why? I don't know why half this episode is here. But I'm watching it, so.
That's fair. So it was basically just the base level of Sun Jin enjoyment, and then nothing additional. Yeah. That's fair. JP, what do you think?
No, I didn't like it, especially because we've seen sort of the payoff to everything first, sort of a symptom of this podcast.
Sure.
I think that had I watched these two episodes in order, I would have felt differently, but because I already know the payoff and I like the payoff episode more, I didn't really care for this one.
Sure.
No.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's just me. I don't know.
I kind of liked watching him out of order better.
Sure.
Well, you can go ahead and be wrong, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a nothing episode to me. A couple of... it took too long for what happened in it to happen.
Yeah.
We decided to move to the caves, and then we saw the introduction to the total story of what's happening between Sun and Jin later in translation. This... most of our episodes, I don't think, have suffered too badly from watching this show out of order. I think this one has suffered severely by it being the third to last episode of the first season of Lost on Lost. Had we watched it earlier, I think it would have been better. Because, it's all already been paid off.
It was like a Lord of the Rings episode where I'm like, there was way too much walking.
Yeah.
And there was second breakfast, which I like food, but
stuff happened and it took way too long for it to happen for me. So that depletes from its enjoyment for me. But I do love Sun and Jin, and I love, just getting more context for their whole thing is fine by me. So it wasn't bad, but I think it suffered from us watching it so late.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be a cheeky fuck here, but the two main storylines both felt like B plots, even though one of those has bees in it and is a B plot. But
it's a B plot.
I just There's nothing
there's no
happened.
A-plot. There's no
Like,
A-plot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the stakes was, we got to communicate with this angry guy who doesn't speak English, and we need to move those people over there so they can drink water.
Right. Again, the stakes totally removed once you realize somebody speaks Korean and English, and then that the caves and the beach are so close together that it doesn't matter if you stay at one or the other. That
Right.
the stakes have completely been sandblasted away.
Precisely.
Yep.
I'm still laughing at B-plot.
Sorry. But we still got to crown an MVP of this episode. Who was your favorite? Who was the best? Who should get all the antihistamines? Kim, who was your lost MVP?
The boutonniere.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
The first one or the second one?
Yes, it's the same one.
Sure.
It is.
This
Yeah.
shit wasn't
The concept of the boutonniere.
real.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Very
Because
abstract.
otherwise we have no sun without that boutonniere.
Yeah.
Very true. JP.
I'm going to say pre-Jin, but pre-Mr. Pake.
Sure.
Man, just the Jin that Sun fell in love with. I love him too.
Pure gin.
And he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncorrupted gin. Yeah.
Even though he has his heel, phase.
Yeah.
And we learn to love him again. I do love when Jin's being charismatic as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Adam.
I'm not going to do this ever again. I'm leaving it blank.
What?
No standouts. Sorry. I'm not giving out a participation trophy.
Pick the
Wow. Your
MVPs.
MVPs.
bees.
MVP. Yeah. No, I'm not. I can't. I racked my brain this entire day.
I mean, I just pulled Jin out of my ass. I would like.
Oh, so many jokes.
Oh, stop it, Kimberly.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I can't.
Nobody.
I've
nobody really.
Yeah,
did
I've
great.
done it in the past. I've just given it to somebody just for them having been there and done nothing egregious. But the more I thought about it, everybody did something that annoyed me enough to take them out of contention.
Why do you think my MVP was a flower?
Exactly.
Should we all just abstain?
I'm abstaining. You guys don't. You guys absolutely don't have to.
No, I'm definitely picking that flower.
Yeah, that's fair. So the other side of the coin, lost forever. Who sucked shit? Who is splitting the hive? Who is depleting the island of pollinators? Who's lost forever? Kim?
Lost forever is Charlie's drugs. But nah. It's Michael. I don't know why. No, I do know why. He's just irritating.
Sure.
Like I want to love him,
Yeah.
but I just like Michael's one of those guys that you like save from the trap and then you quickly walk away because you're like, I don't want you to die, but like I don't want to be your friend.
Well, it's again interesting because of Harold Perrineau is a phenomenal actor, but especially with the stuff we've been learning about, his own personal struggles with the producers and trying to get stuff that he cared about doing on the show and all that. The way they were writing the Michael Walt relationship just fucking sucked. And that's, I think, pretty, at least here on Lost and Lost, pretty evident as the amount of times that Michael's been the fucking Lost forever.
Yeah.
That could have been a really compelling storyline. A son and a son and a father reconnecting, and especially in a show where sons and fathers are such a big deal. But
they just make him out to be like relatively like he's always a nussance. He's always causing problems.
It's one note,
he
too.
has no redeeming. Yeah.
So there you go. JP.
I'm going to give it to my sweet baby boy. There's no world where, stop, we're going to bamboozle these bees is the right call. It should just be, Charlie, fucking get off the beehive, run, you fucking smack addicted idiot. Like,
Right.
Don't try and be the fucking animal whisperer here, dude. Run when it's bees. You don't fuck with bees.
Yeah, no doubt.
When killer bees are chasing you, you're supposed to run into tall grass. I read that in a survival book once. I don't know if that's bullshit or not.
I buy it because they can't. Yeah. If it's thick, tall grass, they probably can't fly that well, and they're gonna have a tough time.
Water.
You're not supposed to go in water because they'll just hover over you.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Just wait.
They'll wait you out. You'll either get stung to shit in the face or you'll drown.
Well, listen, I'm going in the water and I'm leaving my shirt on, so clearly I'm going to die from the bee attack.
That's what I say every time I go to the lake. I'm going in the water and I'm leaving my shirt on. Adam.
His presence is always felt, even if he doesn't appear.
What?
Mr. Paik.
Oh.
He is the corrupting force that forces Jin down this path, or like presents Jin with this like offer he can't refuse type of thing. You know, Jin's still allowed to make his own decision, but the decision he makes to work for Mr. Paik only makes sense if the end goal is to become partners with Sun.
Yeah.
And Mr. Paik's a giant piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
So I'm gonna give it to Mr. Paik.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a good one.
And that's all she wrote. Kim, thank you so much for being on the show. Coming
Thanks
back.
for having me.
Hanging out. Do you have anything you want to plug? This will air late August.
Yeah. Coming soon, the local 141 has a Bucket Brigade, which is our peer support team. We'll be starting our own podcast called Rig Checks.
Hell yeah.
It's about keeping our most important rigs up to date and working. And that's our firefighters themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
More to come.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And it's not just for firefighters. I think there's going to be useful information in that show that will, of course, be helpful for first responders, but people in general. I think could get a lot out of it. So
Absolutely.
I mean, Kim's always sneaking useful like relationship information into this podcast. Imagine where she has a forum where there aren't two fucking idiots talking over her all the time.
I don't know if I can guarantee that, but
Well, all right.
there'll definitely be a lot fewer bee and cum jokes and rig checks.
No, there won't.
I was like, I didn't really have any relationship advice in this episode. In fact, I picked the flower as the MVP, which is like arguably like the worst codependency.
Yeah, that's fair. That's really fair.
Can't win them all, right?
At least I'm aware of it.
JP,
Yeah.
what are we doing next time?
Oh man, we're getting close to the end of season 1 here, man.
that's
Dangerously
right.
close. I see that blue line on our schedule, and I'm like, oh, I never thought I'd see the day. If you're looking to be lost with us next time, we're going to be watching season 2, episode 12, Fire Plus Water, or Fire and Water. That's
First
what
one,
it
then the
says.
other.
Fire Plus Water, starring Charlie.
Charlie Hieronymus Pace. Bass
Oy.
player of Drive Shaft, occasional guitarist, primary songwriter, smack addict, hobbit,
Beehive breaker.
bee bait.
Bee baiter. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, boy.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good.
It'll be good.
We're bringing back Kevin Hoyas for that one, so always a good time. Always a good time.
Resident music expert.
Resident moth expert.
Yeah, and resident moth expert. Yeah, moth correspondent Kevin Hoyes.
Yeah. Well, Kim, thank you. Adam, thank you. And thank you, all of you out there listening to this episode of Lost on Lost.
Yep. I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what's going on the show?
No.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.